And by the way, just in case you're wondering, I got no teleprompters, and I haven't from the beginning. These people. That probably means we'll make a better speech. No, I got no teleprompter. You know, I pay all this money to teleprompter people, and I'd say 20% of the time they don't work. They don't work. The thing's waving around. They can't tie it a little bit tighter. I'm trying to look at. So we're all in this together, everybody. We're all in this together.
What's up, everybody? Major Retired Richard Ojeda here. And imagine being a candidate on stage who suddenly has their entire script blown away. But instead of puckering in fear, they idiotically ad-lib, only to say the most embarrassing and nonsensical things. Well, that was the scene at Donald Trump's weekend rally when Donald had trouble reading the teleprompter and issued a veiled threat about not paying the crew in charge of the windy inconvenience.
But we had one in Ohio where that teleprompter was like the sail on a sailing boat. We had 50-mile-an-hour winds, almost 50. The teleprompters got blown to pieces. We had 60,000 people, and I was standing up there all by myself. And I said, we got a problem. I got no teleprompter, I got no notes, and we had one of the greatest days, don't you think? You think Biden could do that? I don't think so.
Can you see how petty Donald Trump really is? He's threatening not to pay workers because the wind was blowing his hair around and making it hard for him to read his lines. His teleprompter did not go out entirely, but was impacted by the wind, causing it to shake and making it difficult for him to read. That excuse is about as pathetic as him not wanting to get his hair wet in Paris at a ceremony commemorating World War I soldiers and calling those who pay the ultimate price suckers and losers. Understand that it probably takes a small team just to keep Donald Trump looking like Donald Trump. Someone has to pick out his clothes every day, clean his nasty ass up, fix his hair, all while being around his rotten smell. Imagine having to do such a thankless job as changing Donnie's diapers and getting stiffed for all your hard work and your own ethical compromises for taking such a rotten job. But rotten job or not, people deserve to be paid for services rendered, period. Think about this. Donald Trump didn't write his speech that he couldn't read on his teleprompter because of, Mother Nature. But he sure can throw shade on folks that he thinks are below him, like the everyday Americans that work for a living. That's always a divider with Donald Trump. If something doesn't absolutely go his way, even if it's completely out of anyone's control, someone has to be blamed. And that blame is usually going to be assigned to people who don't typically have the financial capability to fight back. It's one thing to have a lot of money and be able to hire lawyers to settle your scores, but that's simply not the case with the people that Donald Trump chooses to stiff. There's a long list of people that Donald Trump has ducked out of paying over the years. A clip from The Good Liars featuring a MAGA construction worker defending Donald Trump for not paying contractors is a comedic gem that underscores the deep-seated polarization among Trump's faithful.
You have a construction helmet on right there?
Yeah, I work construction, yep.
Does it bother you that Trump famously didn't pay a lot of his construction employees?
Who?
In Atlantic City, a lot of the people who worked on his casinos, people lost their livelihoods.
Says who?
The people.
It's just known people.
It is a known thing. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. I'm sure they deserved it.
The Good Liars, known for their satirical approach, infiltrate Trump rallies to showcase the often absurd and illogical arguments made by his cult. In this particular clip, the hard hat-wearing Trump supporter claims that the workers Trump didn't pay deserved it, implying they did subpar work. This statement flies in the face of basic worker solidarity, a concept one might expect a construction worker to understand and support. What makes this clip so effective is comedy, is the uncertainty it creates. Are these interviewees paid actors, or do they genuinely hold these beliefs? The ambiguity is part of the humor, making viewers question the reality of such unwavering and often self-defeating loyalty. Donald Trump has a well-documented history of not paying the services rendered, which has contributed to his reputation as a businessman who regularly rips people off. Take, for instance, his hotel in Washington, D.C. Subcontractors claimed that they were not paid for their work. In total, contractors have alleged unpaid bills exceeding $5 million for labor. Donald Trump has ripped off several small businesses as well. Numerous small businesses, from piano companies to cabinet makers.
The Trump campaign owes nearly $570,000 to El Paso, Texas, for services related to his February rally plus late fees, and more than $80,000 in Tucson, Arizona. That tab has been lingering unpaid since March 2016. The city of Spokane, Washington, has also been trying to collect about 65 grand since early 2016. Mesa, Arizona, has been waiting for nearly the same amount since late last year. Eau Claire, Wisconsin, says Trump owes them over $47,000. He owes $43,000 to Billings, Montana, $35,000 to Erie, Pennsylvania, $16,000 to Lebanon, Ohio, more than $9,000 to Green Bay, Wisconsin, and about $8 grand to Burlington, Vermont. And then there's over $500,000 that the president owes Minneapolis, Minnesota for his rally earlier this month. And we cannot forget Washington, D.C., not a city, but stiffed by the president nonetheless. Trump owes the district a whopping $9 million in unpaid fees.
They have all reported not being paid by Donald Trump. How's that for supporting the backbone of this country? Donald Trump couldn't care less about your family or if you have enough money to pay your bills. All of these examples show a pattern of Trump's business practices that prioritize his financial gain over fair compensation for labor and services. From persecution of his political opponents to everyday working Americans, Donald Trump doesn't give a crap about labor. Hell, GOP legislators are trying to kill child labor laws to put kids younger than 16 to work full-time for less pay, all while trying to force children to have children. Despite these toxic issues, his supporters often overlook or excuse this behavior, demonstrating the strong cult of personality around him. They remain loyal, even when his actions contradict the interests and values that they claim to revere. Donald Trump's teleprompter disaster at the rally illustrates what happens when it goes off script. His true character comes to light. The malfunction left him ad-libbing his lines, which quickly turned into a chaotic, incoherent rant. But in MAGA world, if you don't worship Donald Trump, you're not seen as truly American or Christian. This is an absurd dividing line he draws, and his supporters continue to swallow this bait, refusing to see the reality of it all. Admitting that Donald Trump is wrong would mean acknowledging that there are errors in supporting him, a truth too bitter for many to accept. Despite the spin from Trump and his team, the facts remain clear. Donald Trump consistently acts against the interests of the American worker. This teleprompter mishap is just another instance revealing his true priorities and character. Lock him up already. The world will be a better place when he's in jail. And that is an absolute fact. Sappers clear the way, airborne all the way.